Hi, this is Ram Malhotra, the best-selling author of 8 Wealth Habits of Financially Successful People and The Success Answer. In this video, I'm going to share with you the most common reasons why most entrepreneurs and business people fail. Now, these days, everyone's talking about entrepreneurship and people starting their own businesses. And I feel that it's fantastic when a person decides that they're going to pursue their passion in life. They've discovered what their purpose is, and they have the skill set and they have a desire to maybe improve something, disrupt something, or innovate something, so they go and start their business. I think it's wonderful. But I do believe that just because you have identified your passion or you've got a skill in a certain area, I don't think that those are sufficient reasons for people to start a business. Now, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't ever start a business, but the fact is, by understanding why a lot of business people fail, you can minimize the possibility of you failing in business. So I'm going to attempt to talk about the most common reasons why business people fail. And what I've actually done is, just prior to this video, I just jotted down the main key points as to what makes business people fail. So let's talk about them. So there's about 13 reasons that I've identified as the most common reasons. So let's start with the first one. The first one is that a lot of business people have absolutely no vision. So they jump into a business, so they start a business, they buy a business, but they never really ask themselves, what does my dream business look like? What am I really trying to accomplish? So a lot of people will try and bypass these questions and just get straight into the doing mode. And whilst action is important, action without direction doesn't necessarily work. So I think people need to really stop and say, well, why am I really starting this business? And the vision is really about, what do you want to accomplish in business? So that's the first fundamental question you need to ask yourself is, what does my dream business look like? Because remember, the business is a vehicle for you to achieve the kind of life that you want, whether it's financially or whether it's based on lifestyle. So you need to know, what are you really trying to accomplish through that business? And if your primary objective is to make a difference, again, you need to be clear on what kind of difference you want to make and what kind of impact you want to have. So that's the first thing. You've got to have a vision. So one of the primary reasons why a lot of business people fail is because they don't have a vision before they get into a business. The second is they're not clear on their mission. So the vision is what you want to accomplish. The mission is why you want to accomplish it. Now, the why, it's been talked about lately. Everyone's talking about the fact that you must know your why. And the reason why that's important is because when your heart's in it and you're naturally inspired, it gives you the energy, it gives you the inspiration that you need to ride out the tough times, because you're going to experience tough times in business. So the second thing you really need to know is your mission, why you want to accomplish what you want to accomplish. The third thing you need to do is you need to have some sort of a plan so that your vision can become reality. You don't just jump into business. You've got to spend some time doing some planning around your business. How do you want it to look in a few years? What other steps that you're going to take, so on and so forth. So overall, you've got to have some sort of a plan. Are you going to be local? Are you going to be national? Are you going to be international? And just having an overview of how you're going to accomplish your business goals. So that's the third reason why a lot of business people fail, is they have absolutely no planning around their business. The fourth reason why a lot of business people fail is because they don't have a strategy. So we talked about the fact that vision is what you want to accomplish, mission is why you want to accomplish it, strategy is how you're going to accomplish it. Now, you don't need to know all the answers, and you're not going to know all the answers when you start, but you need to have some sort of an idea as to what you're going to do. So what is your strategy to promote your product or services? What is your strategy to build your product or service? What is your strategy to get it into the market? What is your strategy to test it? What is your strategy to deal with competition or to stand out? I mean, you've got to have some sort of an idea before you get into business. So just having a look at my notes. The fifth common reason why a lot of business people fail is they don't actually spend any time doing any research on the need in the market. So if effectively a business is solving some sort of a problem, or it's catering for some sort of a need or want, and we really need to be clear on what that need or want in the market is. So if you spend no time doing any research, you're likely to make a lot of assumptions from your own thinking. And the problem with that is sometimes your assumptions are not right. You've gone and spent a lot of time and money and then you might find that what you've decided on doing doesn't work. And look, some of these lessons I've learned the hard way as well in business. So I certainly didn't have all these answers, and as I have experienced and I've made mistakes, I do these videos so I can share with you through my own experiences. So this is not just theoretical learning, this is everything that I have learned and applied and I've got results from, but also things that I have failed in. And so for me, it's about taking those experiences and then sharing them with you so that I can hopefully prevent the pain and the problems that you may encounter on your entrepreneurship journey. So just to summarize, what's the fifth reason why a lot of business people fail is because they don't do any research on the need or the want in the market. The sixth reason I believe why a lot of businesses fail is because they don't know who they're targeting. So you've got to have some sort of a target. If you're a small business, you're an entrepreneur that's just starting out, you may not have the deep pocket, you may not have a massive marketing budget. So you need to be able to zone into who you're going to target. Who is your target market? What do they look like? Where do they live? You need to know their demographic. You need to know their psychographics, how they think, and the reason for that is because if you try and target everybody and you try and speak to everybody, you're not going to speak to anyone. And so if you have become very clear on who you're targeting, you're more likely to be able to understand their pain points, and then you're more likely to be able to plan your budget towards targeting that and not waste a lot of marketing dollars. The next one is that they don't have a compelling message. So they don't know how to pitch what they do in a way that's compelling and interesting and people want to hear it. So one of the most difficult things these days is that we're living in a world which is highly distracted. And so to capture people's attention quickly so that they even listen to what you're doing and what problem you're solving or what product or solution you're offering, that is a challenge in itself. So if you don't know how to pitch your message and it's not pitched and presented in a way that's compelling and makes people stop and want to listen to it or want to read into it or want to find out more about it, then you're going to fail as well. And so that's another reason why a lot of businesses fail, is because they don't have a compelling message. The eighth reason is that they don't have a unique selling proposition or a unique value proposition. So if you're just another Me Too business where you've just gone and replicated what somebody else is doing, and you don't know what makes you different, what makes you unique. Is it your price? Is it your quality? Is it your delivery? Is it your packaging? Is it a unique problem that you're solving? So you've got to know that, because otherwise, if you don't know that and you can't articulate that, you can't expect your consumer to know that. And the more your business and your product and your solution and your offering seems similar to other products and services and solutions out there in the market, the harder it is for you to stand out and get attention. And so that's why you need to know your unique selling proposition and your unique value proposition. The next one is that they don't have a marketing strategy. So they don't know how they're going to get the information and the product or solution to their market. Are they going to rely on social media? Are they going to rely on mass media? Are they going to rely on referrals? Are they going to rely on joint ventures? So they've got to have some sort of a strategy. So they've got to know what is their primary method and the secondary methods through which that they're going to get their message and their product out to the market. So that's really important as well. Another one is that they don't have systems. So one of the reasons why a lot of business people end up failing is because they end up becoming a slave to their business. So instead of having the business work for them, they end up working for the business. And so a lot of people find themselves getting into business and literally find that they've actually bought themselves a job, where previous to getting into business, maybe they were working 40 hours a week, and now they're working maybe 80 hours a week, but for less money. And that's because they haven't systemized a lot of the things in the business. And it's been suggested that if there's something that is going to be done repetitively, it's better to systemize it. And the best businesses that are commercially successful are businesses that have taken their processes and build them in such a way that even an average person can get superior performance just simply by following those processes. So that's systemization, a very important and key function in a business, probably one of the most important businesses, because if you don't systemize your business, eventually the business is going to end up owning you. You're going to put in more and more time and effort, and then you're going to feel exhausted, and then you might find that really, at some point you might just feel burnout, you might start to resent the business, and then that becomes a reason for why a lot of business people then end up closing down their business, and that's essentially a business failure as well. Then a big reason, the 11th reason, is that a lot of business people don't understand numbers. They don't understand the difference between their profit and loss and balance sheet. They don't understand the difference between revenue and net profit. And so they don't understand a lot of the numbers behind their business. And a lot of the social media stuff around entrepreneurship emphasizes marketing, but hardly anyone talks about the importance of keeping track of numbers. And just the analogy that comes to mind is, imagine you're playing a sport and you don't know how to read the scoreboard. So if you don't know how to read the scoreboard, how do you work out whether you're winning or losing? So I think now you don't need to be a specialist in numbers, but you need to have some sort of an idea at least, so you can gauge the financial health of your business. And I have just come across so many business people who've got absolutely no idea how they're tracking, and they just completely rely on their accountants 100%. And I think that that's a mistake. And I've had to develop these skills myself because I wanted to learn all aspects of my business. I wanted to understand the numbers. And that's not always an easy exercise, but it's worthwhile, because the last thing you want is, maybe let's just say, as an example, you see that your revenue is increasing and your sales are increasing. And you can't automatically make the assumption that your business is healthy or it's growing, because if your cost of goods is also increasing or increasing faster than the sales and the revenue, you might actually be going backwards. And so that's why you need to know these numbers and have some sense of what's going on in your business. And too many business people have absolutely no idea, and they're intimidated by numbers, and that's also another great cause of business failure. Then the 12th reason why I believe a lot of businesses fail is they don't actually build a prototype for their product or service before they launch. They don't test it, and it's a mistake that I have made myself. And the fact is that if you don't test it, then you don't really have feedback from the market. And sometimes what happens is business people end up spending a lot of money, time, resources into building a product and completing it and finalizing it and refining it. And then they find that there is actually no need in the market. And so that can happen as well. So I think it's important that you build a quick prototype and get into the market as quickly as possible, because then it's a way of testing it. And then you can start to improvise on that product or service based on feedback, as opposed to just prematurely getting it out. As opposed to working on it and getting it all done, and then finding out that it actually hasn't got a need in the market, or the way the product has been designed, it's got deficiencies or defects that the market doesn't want. So just to avoid that. And the 13th reason why businesses fail is they don't have a contingency plan. So contingency plan basically means being prepared for the worst case scenario. So there's a lot of risks in business, from running out of cash to technology, theft, fire, and a number of other reasons why a lot of businesses go under and fail. And so the fact is, you've got to understand all the risks and threats to your business and have some sort of contingency plan to mitigate those risks. Now, I don't think you can ever eliminate risks in business. It's just, you can't eliminate risks in life. You could get into your car and get hit, and all you can do is be a better driver. You can pay more attention on the road. You can be more alert. And in business, it's the same thing. It's not about risk avoidance. It's actually about risk mitigation, risk minimization, and risk management. So it's about really understanding all the key risks in your business, and then making sure that you have some sort of a contingency plan, whether that's documenting your processes, or it's about having some types of insurances to insure the key people in your business, or insuring the assets in your business, or even making sure that from a financial perspective you're prepared. Because I was told many years ago that when you're foreseeing and you're projecting the expenses in your business, whatever you think it's going to cost you, double it and then add another 50% more. And I have found that to be true, that most people underestimate what it's going to cost. And most people underestimate how long it's going to take, and however long you think it's going to take, maybe double that as well, because everything in business takes time. And sometimes it's a case of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Sometimes it's 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. And so just understanding that and having a contingency plan means that you can be better prepared. So hopefully those 13 reasons give you an insight into what does it actually take to maximize your chances of running a business successfully, and why so many business people fail. Because a lot of people just make the assumption if they're very good at what they do, then that's a good enough reason for them to get into business. But these are all of the factors which can cause issues in your business, and having an awareness and understanding of those means that you can start to plan and prepare for these things. So hopefully this has been of value. I would love to know what you think. So if there is provision for you to comment, depending on where you've seen this video, please comment and let me know what you think. And if you have any further questions as well. Thanks for watching.